Do you want to go for a run? The knee is feeling pretty good. Pretty optimistic in the efforts I've been putting into, I guess, rebuilding it. I don't know that I'd say I was traditionally injured per se, but definitely my knee hurt and it made like hard efforts difficult. Feeling pretty good now. Show me how fast you can go. That's it, eh? You know how the other day I was showing you our brand new battery electric lawnmower that we got because, well, I can't afford an electric car and I also can't afford an electric motorcycle, and it was the third next best thing. Continuing on with that trend, I'd like to introduce to you our first solar panel install, all in the name of working towards that sustainable, renewable energy source. Currently, this solar panel only, it powers these LED lights here. It works on a remote. We had the idea of completely rebuilding this entire deck, but then we found out how much it was going to cost, and we were like, I guess we'll just have to gussy it up with some other stuff, like lights and possibly a carpet. And honestly, don't be surprised if this vlog ends with me building brand new patio furniture for it. I think I've mentioned this in the past. At the very least, I've answered this question in the past. But I have like zero, mark that, zero interest in working on other people's bikes, like taking on bike repair, maintenance for like other random people, random bikes, similar to what I would have done at the bike shop in that environment. I think doing it away from like a shop environment kind of like puts you in a position where most people would expect the work to either be cheaper or the parts to be cheaper because there's like less overhead and there's no brand or company behind it. So anytime someone I don't really know is like, hey, can you like look at something, or can you do a tune-up on my bike? And I don't know them, they're like not a friend. I'm like, no, no thanks. I will literally take just as long and it'll be almost as expensive as a shop. The one exception to that rule is any sort of close friend who I know understands all that and is like willing to work with me. Then we'll work on stuff. Case in point, this very cool FW Evans. So I assume most of you would be familiar with the online shop, like the shop, Evans Cycles. FW Evans is like the precursor to that. It's what started Evans Cycles. They were custom frames. You'd go in there, they'd take your measurement, you'd tell them what you want to do, and boom, they'd build a bike directly for you. And a good friend of mine, Jane, this is her mom's bike. Marika, Jane's mom, went into Evans and went through that process. Boom, touring bike built specifically for Marika. It's really cool. It's built with Reynolds 581 steel. It's got like pinstriping all over it. It's got the cool old generator headlight, Suntour rear derailleur, Shimano front derailleur, Sugino crank. I'm not entirely sure what the freewheel is, but the hubs are campy. This is just like a well-preserved example of a custom-built touring bike from back in the day. I kind of went over it a few weeks ago. It's in like perfect working order. The one thing that I didn't love about it was the tires are so rotten that if you're going to do any sort of real riding on it, that they should be replaced. So finding a 27 by 1.25 tire that didn't suck was not a super challenge, but definitely took a little bit of time to get here. Dominic hooked it up again. Set of Schwalbe Marathons in 27 by 1.25 in stock. Big difference between the weathered, hardened, and cracking and separating tire tread sidewall of these old ones versus the Marathon. I've been putting Gravel Kings on so many different bikes lately that I keep forgetting sometimes that other tires have tread direction and that you need to pay attention. This pump is awful. It will get things up to pressure, but holy, it's like the last inch that you get any air out of. Alright.
Common in most bike shops. It fits very nice.
I don't have that.
In the two holes in the top. You can go ahead, remove the plunger and handle to work on the O-rings.
Oh.
To replace the main.
It's like suspension. I'm just gonna try and fix it. I know they recommend that thing, but I'm just gonna use the universal shop tool here. Works every time. Apparently all I need to do is wipe this down and maybe replace this seal. The seal doesn't even look that bad. I bought all these O-rings and dagnabbit, I'm gonna use all these O-rings. Now I think this seal that I have here is a little bit bigger than the one that was on there. Possibly that'll help. Okay, let's see if we fixed it. That's promising. You know what is just completely remarkable about this FW Evans? The sheer functionality that is still left in every single component that's on it. Of course, I don't know the history. I don't know if like things have been replaced. Like I don't know if the freewheel's been replaced. I don't know if the cranks have been replaced. Like I don't know. It all seems very period. Like very period correct. It shifts like butter. The clicks in the freewheel are like, the wheels are still like, hubs roll good, headset moves perfectly fine. The brakes, like pulling the brake lever, that's like modern feeling levels of brake lever pull. Usually when you come across like a bike of this age, at least in my experience of working at bike shops, everything's all like crusty and terrible. No, not with this thing. I don't know like where it's been stored. I don't know how it's, like I don't know. I don't know. But I do chalk up the feeling of this, with everything working as good as it does, to just like, that's quality components right here. If tech and standards didn't like change, you would, expect to still be buying this kind of stuff, like this level of stuff. I mean, you still do buy this level of stuff. It's nice to work on one that actually wants to like continue on with life and didn't give up on all its parts. Like as I was going over this, and I was like, well, everything's working like A1. I guess, I'll just make sure that everything has the appropriate grease and that it's like, gonna want to come apart again in the next 20 years or so. So I like pull the seat post out and still like pretty fresh looking grease on there. Like there's nothing I need to do other than put tires on this thing. It's a cool old bike. I hope I still have like some of the ones that I really cherish for like the same amount of time. I was gonna go mountain biking, but I totally ended up making more of a video about this and like losing track of time.